Namaskar and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about past lives, remembering your past lives, how it happens, why it doesn't happen, and is it a good thing? Okay? So this is taken from a discourse, two discourses. The first one is called Superstitions About Death, and the second one is called Extra-Cerebral Memory. So that cerebral refers to the brain, so it means memory which is outside the brain. So we have memories which are done by the brain and memories which are held from your past lives that are outside your brain. Human beings can remember many things in their lives, but they also forget many things. They study and learn, and what they learn today, they forget tomorrow. Many people, however, remember things from their past lives. They can remember a few particular episodes, not of this life, but of their past life. They see them like dreams, though they are unaware that these episodes are known to them, but they remember them. Such memories are called non-cerebral memories, or non-brain memories. Once I demonstrated in Ranchi what a man observes when his mind is taken back 50, 100, or 500 years. Actually, what is this non-cerebral memory? In general terms, memory can be explained in this way. What you store in your brain through the medium of nerve cells is your cerebral memory or your brain memory. But in the case of non-cerebral memory, your nerve cells will not come forward to help you. They cannot help you because no memory of your past episodes remains stored in your present nerve cells to enable you to remember them. Along with the rest of your previous bodies, those nerve cells got burned to ashes when the bodies died. What people learn or observe in their present life remains stored in the present nerve cells of their brain as memory. That is, the episodes of their previous lives are not stored in their present nerve cells because the nerve cells of their previous bodies got burned to ashes along with the bodies of their previous lives. So, how will one remember them? How can the memories be recollected by the mind? When people die, the sanskaras, or reactive momenta, of their previous life accompany their spirit, soul, or atma. So for those of you who aren't familiar, in Ananda Marga, sanskaras means like past karma, right? What are these reactive momenta or sanskaras? They are nothing but the unfulfilled consequences of one's karma or actions performed in the previous life. That is, actions were performed, but they did not bear any fruit. They did not have any result. The unfulfilled potential of the past actions lay resting along with the mind in the form of a seed of possibilities. That seed of possibilities takes a shelter in the next life, which is most suitable for materializing these possibilities. These sanskaras, the past karma, seek out and get the kind of body and nerve cells which best serves their expression. Now here I'm inserting a quote from another discourse called Superstitions About Death. Immediately after the death of a creature, be it insect or human, the search for a new body starts afresh. Wherever it finds an appropriate environment, it will get a new body. Until it finds the new body, is the mind suspended? No. Even then, it is engaged in action, the action of search. Search, search, effort, effort. In those instances in the previous life where actions were performed, but the results were not achieved, where actions were performed, but they did not bear any fruit, sanskaras, or reactive momenta, remain with which the individual is personally involved. That is, in the previous life, both the person and their mind were deeply involved with these actions. The unexpressed tendency of those particular episodes in which the mind was deeply involved will remain restive or restless in them. Having this tendency by birth, those episodes are still remembered in their mind, but in some cases, the tendency remains stored in an indistinct and unclear form. For example, when one is sitting alone, suddenly a strange imagination may start playing in the mind. One may feel, I was the owner of that piece of land. I used to farm it. How does this occur? It is because the sanskaras of the previous life were involved, which is why one can suddenly remember the episode. However, in this case, one does not realize that one has remembered an episode of one's previous birth. Such things occur in the lives of everybody. But in some people, a true picture of exactly what had happened in their previous life remains vividly clear in the mind. Such things only happen in 3 types of cases. First, in those who have a very well-developed personality. Secondly, in those who have commanded their own death or who have died with full consciousness. And thirdly, in those who died through accidents. In these 3 cases, the episodes of the previous life remain visible and clear in the mind. Generally, such a memory does not last long. A part of it remains vividly clear up to the age of 12 or 13 years, but after that age, it gradually goes back into unconsciousness. This is because if one remembers it all the time, one will develop a dual personality. Suppose in this birth, a boy has the name Ram Kumar, and in his previous life, he was known as Harihar. The same person will have 2 personalities. This is the situation. Those who do remember their past lives up to the age of 12 or 13 years are called jatismara in Sanskrit. If one can concentrate the mind and transform it into a point, then one can remember everything. One can remember every word of one's previous birth in one's next life, provided that one's reactive momenta remain unfulfilled. But I will never advise any sadhaka or spiritual aspirant to try to become a jatismara. What is the use of recollecting the history of your past life? Try to learn only about the future. What is the future? What should be the future? You should become one with Paramapurusha by merging into him. Then everything will be known and revealed to you. Unite with him and enjoy the bliss of spiritual ambrosia. The meaning of unification with Paramapurusha is to enjoy Paramapurusha? What is the use of knowing the history of your previous births? Such knowledge will never help your spiritual advancement. So, such knowledge will never help your will never help your spiritual advancement. So there's the answer. I mean, a lot of people are interested in knowing their past lives, and I guess that's why I'm talking about it. I mean, certainly we have a natural curiosity. I am, curious about it too. But should you put effort, time, and energy into it? Should you think about it a lot? No, there are better things. If you want to make spiritual progress, it's better to think about the future, about becoming one with Paramapurusha, and so forth, right? So basically, spiritually speaking, you are wasting your time if you are thinking about your past lives. It's interesting, however, that just as an item of curiosity, I mean, how do people remember their past lives? He said there are 3 cases. The first is people who have a well-developed personality, and I think that means by, extremely advanced in their sadhana and their meditation, and that relates to another part of the discourse where it says that if you are able to keep your mind one-pointed, you will be able to remember everything. And in another discourse, he says that if you can make your mind one-pointed, you can not only remember everything about your past life, but you can basically know everything that there is to be known. You can become all-knowing, right? So the whole universe becomes known to you or visible to you. If you can focus your mind at one point, and you can place that point anywhere and know anything. So people with a well-developed personality, in the sense of spiritually well-developed, having that capacity to focus their mind in one point. Then the second type of person is those who decide when to leave their body. So some yogis know the time of their own death, or they can consciously decide, okay, that's it, I've accomplished what I want to do. I am now going to leave my body, and they do so consciously. Or people who are very conscious at the time of their death. So people who kind of become unconscious and die, as probably most people do, are not super clearly conscious at the time of death. So it's unlikely they will remember their past lives. But those who are clearly conscious, or who choose leave their body deliberately and consciously, they also remember. And people who die in accidents. It's also said that it's very common. I think it was interesting to say that most of us have these kinds of experiences, but we're not aware that we're remembering a past life. We may have some strange feeling. It comes from somewhere where you feel related to something, and you just think, well, that's my imagination, or that's a dream, or something like that. You're not aware that it's coming from your past life. I found it also very interesting that when we die, we are still in between. From the moment that we die, we begin this action of search, right? So our sanskaras, we have stuff that maybe we started to get involved in, but it didn't come to completion. Maybe you wanted to be a musician and you started somewhere, but it didn't go anywhere, or something like that. Or, any unfinished business that you have, something that you were deeply involved in, but it didn't come to its fruit. So immediately you die, those leftover unfinished business push your mind to search for circumstances and situations which will allow you to carry on. So you may get born, for example, into a musical family or something like that. If you were really into sadhana and a spiritual practice and you didn't reach your goal, then you might get born into a family where you will have those opportunities to carry on where you left off. And your mind, after you have died, will be looking for those situations. And when you find a situation which is suitable, an environment which is suitable, then you will choose that and you'll be reborn in those circumstances. Also was of interest that you can develop some children, it's very common for children to remember, but then gradually that memory fades. If the memory persists, you can develop a dual personality, which can be problematic. Am I this person or am I the person from my past life? And in another discourse, not in this one, Sri Anandamurti explained that sometimes that disbalance can result in an early death, right? So it's not considered healthy for children to go on remembering their past lives. So I hope that was interesting for you. As it said in the discourse itself, it's not particularly useful as far as your meditation and spiritual progress is concerned, but it is a matter of curiosity, I think, for many of us. Thank you for joining. Have a good week. Namaskar.